Everyone, we're trying something new. We're the Mass Sages team, and without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to our new CEO, Tony Schreiner. I was CEO. You probably didn't even know I was CEO. I'm the director of the films. But now this is great news because, Mass Sages is much more than just a filmmaking company. We're a nonprofit who wants to double Latin Masses. Now I can focus exclusively on films, more films to come out, and Tony can lead our nonprofit into great things to come, which we'll probably get into today. So we're together for our executive meeting, which is tomorrow, and I thought it would be fun to make mixed drinks and learn about Tony and each other and Mass Sages. So this might be a bad idea, but it's going to be fun. I'm calling it Mixed Conversations. And I just had an idea that, if we were reviewing movies, we'd call it Mixed Reviews.
Oh, nice.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
We should do that sometime.
So we're going to do this every day. Or maybe this will be a thing we do, whenever we meet, once a quarter. It could be fun. We'll see how it goes. So the way it works, and again, this might be a terrible idea. We'll take turns mixing drinks for the other two and ourselves, and then we'll ask questions to the person mixing the drink, and we'll get to know each other. Sound good?
That sounds great.
Before we start, Tony, introduce yourself to the world.
Hello, everyone. It's an honor and a privilege to be a part of this team. My name is Tony Schreiner, and I've had the pleasure of knowing Cameron for the past over 2 years, and this has all just been God's doing. There's no other way of putting it, that God has worked through this organization. He's worked through our lives individually. And here we are. This is very exciting because there is so much in store that we have for the world. The Mass of the Ages is really just on the brink of amazing things. So we're going to have a good time. This is a great idea, by the way. I like it. I like your idea.
Thank you.
This is a good idea. Yes.
Well, ever since you allowed me to be just the creative, come up with ideas like this.
Creativity flowing.
Yeah.
Right.
Here we go. Dan, what are you mixing for us?
All right, I'm going to mix a cocktail that I made, and it has some flavor text, so you'll have to come and listen to me explain the cocktail.
I'm here.
Crafted it.
What, you made it
years
up?
ago, yeah.
Oh!
It's called Ora et Labora.
Yes.
I have to read you the flavor
You know what that
text
means, right?
Because the ingredients of it apply to the theme.
Okay.
So the motto of the Benedictine monks was Ora et Labora.
Okay, how long is this?
This is just the first sentence of 6
This is a mixed drink? How long does this mixed drink take to mix?
Well, after I've read these 6 pages, I'll start making the drink. Early in the morning, they arise to pray and give worship to God. This was the Benedictine way of prayer. So we have this drink here. It's called Benedictine. It is actually made by Benedictine monks.
You're so cool. Oh my God.
Then it's off to do hard labor, but not without their coffee first. So we've got some coffee liqueur that's going in there. Then the days of work of threshing grain, we've got our rye right here, is complete, and it's time to reflect on the zest of life provided to them by the good Lord. So those are the ingredients and a little flavor text, and now I've got to make it, which I haven't made it for a little while. So we need 1.5 ounces. Can you help me with math?
Yes, we can
What's
do
1.5 times 3? 4.5.
4.5.
that. 4.5.
4.5.
Nice.
So let's go to 4.5. Oh, do we have the ounce ones? Yes, we do.
Dan, where does this rank on your mixed drinks list? Personally, what do you like the most?
Just in general as a cocktail?
Yeah.
Cocktail. It's good. It's really good. Yeah.
Top 3, top 10?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I like a lot of really classic cocktails, and I make a lot of classic cocktails.
I could probably name 3 cocktails.
Okay.
If you gave me an hour.
Okay, so we got
3 an hour.
4.5 ounces of rye. And now I need some more math as well.
Okay.
3/4 times 3.
So
Two and a quarter.
2 1/4. Thank you. We're gonna do not more rye.
oh yeah, that was
Coffee liqueur. So what did we say again?
Done with that?
2 and a what
Done?
now?
2 1/4.
Oh wait, am I supposed to do this? Shake rye and Benedictine and shake a cup. Oops, sorry. That's supposed to come last.
Dan, real quick, could you just brush your? That's it. That's the other side. Yep,
His
you're
hair's in his eyes.
Wait, now I think I remember you telling me something about your hair that was amazing. You used to have.
A long time ago, dreadlocks.
Imagine that. I just want to put that like superimposed.
I've seen the pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've lived it.
Do you think this is going to be your hairstyle for the rest of your life?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I think it'll probably just get shorter and shorter until it like fades to skin. So it's just gonna be a skin fade.
Hold on.
Like
do you,
just like
do
blood.
you mean the color of skin, or it's just gonna like be translucent?
No, I mean I'm gonna lose my hair.
Oh, okay. I understand.
White to skin.
We said what did we say? How was
2
that math
1/4.
working? 2
2 1/4. Dan, what do you do at Mass Ages? I don't even know.
I operate the directions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Director of Operations.
So Google Maps, Apple Maps, all kinds of things. All right, so let me just do this. So we got this in there, and we are going to shake this now. I think I've never shaken this one. Shout out to Michael Foley, who's written a book on cocktails and is a great trad Catholic. He
Drinking
likes
with
to,
the Saints.
He wrote Drinking with the Saints. Go buy it on Amazon. It's awesome. Learn a cocktail for each day of the year and learn about the saint of that day according to the traditional calendar. Okay. He says do 40 for penance or something.
Wow. Should you do 39 instead? You know.
Oh, yeah. Death -1. 39 lashes.
I'm not counting.
I think you counted by 2.5.
2.5.
This is one shake. One.
All right.
Okay, so now this is the second part of it, but we do
We're
have
still in the aura, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Well, there's a bit of labora in there because they've already got their
Okay, this is really interesting.
rye. Now, do you guys know how to cut peel? Have you ever cut peel for a cocktail before? No. You know how to do
No.
that? There is a way how to do it. It's not complicated, but they're usually called medallions. So I'm going to cut a medallion in a minute, and then we're going to express the oils over the top to get that zest of life in there, but not without having our coffee first.
I'm really excited
So-
for this.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to put a little bit of coffee.
What time do we have to be
liqueur.
up tomorrow?
Hopefully this doesn't keep us up all night. This kind of goes on the top. Normally you'd want to get a big old ice cube in there. There we go. I'm gonna get.
Okay.
Do you want this?
Sure, let's just bring it over here.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
This isn't a cooking show, but
Yeah, that knife is
Not
really
yet.
close to me.
there's one medallion.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to
Oh,
be
I could do that.
swirly.
Or a coin.
I'll probably do that
They-
when I mix a drink.
They're called coins too, but we're gonna do one for luck too.
Okay.
This one for luck, I'm gonna show you how potent the oils in this are. Watch this.
Oh,
See that?
that's
If we had a lighter,
Tom, were you rolling on that?
it would.
Really?
Yeah,
Flammable.
it's flammable.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I don't know if it picked it up on the camera, but it was a
You
steamy,
better got that in
steamy
slow motion.
cloud.
Slow motion.
Okay, we'll do this. Drop that one in. Do that.
I'm going to make those, and I'm going to call them gold doubloons.
Okay.
There
you
we
can
go.
Do that.
Yeah.
You're the CEO.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.
Ora et
Ora et
labora.
labora. And then the Latin word for drink.
What do we think?
I like it. I don't know if I love it yet.
Okay. Okay.
But hold on.
I like
I'm
that. I'm smelling the.
citrus.
Oh, I love smelling the
Citrus.
orange.
Yeah, yeah. That's gonna be very strong.
It's good. Yeah, I'd say pretty darn good.
Yeah. It's
Sincerely, it's good.
It's the way to level this up is with like a block of ice, and then also there. So you get different like types of coffee liqueur. There's a couple of really good ones out there. This one's not bad. It's just this would be really good for these like on the back. It's got a mochattini. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's like a really sweet coffee martini. It's delicious. Anyway, yeah, I'm the director of operations. So that just means a lot of things. It's processes, it's how we do things. In the beginning days when we were first founding as a non-profit, it meant just kind of getting the team together and starting to see if we can get all our ideas like into actual, like, we're unified in this vision and we're moving forward.
Yeah, and with not a lot of people, a director of operations also has like multiple other jobs too. What's your favorite part of like the working at Massey Ages? Like, what's your favorite thing you do?
I love being on set.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
That's really fun.
Going to different countries and different places like that. What's yours, Cameron?
Oh man, probably when we have the footage, and I've watched like hours of footage, and then something clicks, like a certain line with a shot, like a moment happens basically. So in the edit, probably post-production with our editor John, when it's like we nail something, it's like the music, like for example in episode 3, when Diane starts tearing up when she's thinking about everything she's given up, but it's not a big deal, but it's still really hard. Like that moment leading to how the music flows into them continuing on. Like that moment was very early on in the editing process, and when it came together, it was so rewarding. It was like cathartic. Because it's like, yeah, being on set is great. I love it. But it's just like an embarrassment of riches. Like you film so much stuff. You're like, what am I going to do with all this? And you don't really know if it's going to work at the end of the day. And there's so much on the cutting room floor that's like stories that we filmed. Like we had a priest in England who was ordained right after Traditionis Custodes came out. I don't even know if you know this.
The day after, I believe.
Day after. And for those who don't know, Traditionis Custodes says for those who are ordained after, they need permission from the bishop and eventually from Rome. Like the bishop needs to seek the Council of Rome on the matter, and no one's been given permission. So we have stories like that seem like you're there and you're shooting it. You're like, episode 3, it's going in there. But like, we have so much under the surface. There's like a huge iceberg of content that's under the surface.
Do you remember when we were at the same place in Ramsgate in England, and they had this what mass was it for? What feast?
Candlemas? No, was it?
It might have been Candlemas. Yeah, they had this incredible scholar there. And I just thought this is going to show up in everything of Mass Ages. It's got like a half a second of like
I know.
It's crazy though because it was such a beautiful experience, and the liturgy was gorgeous, and you'd expect it to kind of show up, but it just hasn't.
There's more of Ramsgate in our upcoming short film.
Nice.
Which people know if you've been watching closely is a commercial. It's like a Latin Mass commercial called Welcome to the Latin Mass. And it's like the most winsome, easy introduction to the Latin Mass in just 3 minutes. Something you can share with friends and family. So Ramsgate comes into that one a couple times.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You talk about all this footage that gets left around. You know, we filmed all these things, and we can't put it all in there, obviously. This is a great time for us to talk about.
Oh, I know what you're doing right now.
I know where you're going.
We're talking about. I've been waiting to say, let's talk about this, right? Let's talk about the vault for a moment.
The vault.
Yes.
Right, the vault is something that will be coming soon, and it's going to. I think this is going to be a game changer because there's so much content.
Yeah, we've been given an opportunity that no one else has because of generous supporters, like funding the project to go to all these different countries, dozens and dozens of stories. So all that footage that I'm talking about and more. So like, we have this thing called the vault, where it's like a vault. You open it, and it's this treasure trove that you would have access to in the vault, and it has interviews in it. We're gonna put other film content in it, debates in it. So we're even filming more stuff. So we have really like the debates that would be for our fans if they want to go like deep and nerdy into something. It's like let's have a debate on the reform of the reform with Dr. Joseph Shaw and Father Fessio. Like that's really awesome. So yeah, the vault. What do you want to say about it?
Right. Well, I mean, the great thing about the vault is that we are going to over time be just continuing to put content in there.
Yeah.
Because when you talked about the amount of content that we have,
40,000 gigabytes
Right.
of content. Yeah.
that's just
That's a lot.
insane.
So like, yeah, when you watch a film, like the other thing is the uncut interviews, from the trilogy. But when you watch the film, and anyone we've interviewed makes this comment, it's like, yeah, we spent 4 hours with Dr. Peter Kwarzewski, 4 hours of him walking us through different like parts of the liturgical history, and he's just a genius mind. Well, only 4 minutes or so makes it into the film. So, 1/60th of it, if I did the math right. So it's just, yeah. So the vault is gonna we want to give access to the rest of the content. It's really exciting.
How far out are we talking? Like, when
Well, I think we're talking about that tomorrow, probably.
Yeah, we are. I mean, I think so. Here we are. It is end of June, ish.
Yes,
end of
almost like a
June,
week before.
which means we're wrapping up the second quarter. So I think the goal is that
I'm gonna say we should probably try to have it be in quarter 3. We release.
I think it's a Q3
But
thing.
We'll see.
Right, it's a Q3 thing.
We got to put everything onto the table and be like, what's the most important thing?
Yeah,
But I agree. I
Yeah.
think it's gonna be Q3.
right. And a part of this conversation that we're doing is us just trying to talk to our donors, our fans, our supporters, and say, hey, here's what's going through our mind, right? Here's what's happening. Because there's so much. This is the thing that I had no idea. I've known you for over 2 years. And now stepping into this role, I realize there's so much, and you do such a great job at this, of the things that are done to get this released to the world. Like, hey, we did this thing. And I'm not talking about just the films.
Yeah.
But hey, what about this? What about that? Right? And so I think it's important for all of our supporters to understand, look, be patient. And that's why we're doing this, is to converse about this and to be able to say, hey, we think that, and over time, the vault will keep growing and growing because it's all going to go there. It's all going to go there. And have we talked about it? Have we released any information
The
about
only
it?
information, so if you're in our Telegram channel, I talked about it there, because Telegram gets first access to like the behind the scenes stuff, but we haven't publicly talked about it.
Well, that's not true, because I think a bunch of people have been enrolled already. But it's kind of like, so
Only just because
there's a
they,
soft release
Yeah, that's
of
right.
it, and
Okay.
but we haven't talked about it.
yeah, we haven't like announced it to the world yet. But some people watching might be like,
This
well,
is getting better the more I drink it.
It is.
yeah. I mean, it has some strong liquor in it, so it's got rye. Which, where did the rye go?
We took it away.
Rye? Did
We,
you do that?
we took it away. It's over here.
Rye, oh rye.
Did you want to hold it?
I did want to hold it because this is actually a pretty good rye, but this is 50% alcohol, so it's like
Okay.
it's more up there than your average.
Right.
This is probably 40, I'm guessing, and I can't find it. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with it and say 40. And then you've got some of this, which is probably around 20. It's a very strong drink, and with very strong flavors of like herbs, like pretty much just herbs. If you think chartreuse.
Herbs.
No, I got
Oh
that.
yeah.
Or herb.
Yeah,
He's a good
chartreuse
guy.
is really good.
It's just kind of like chartreuse in the sense, not flavor, but it's herbal. It's medicinal. And then this is like heavy whiskey, and this is heavy coffee. strong flavors.
I've never grown a beard, but I think I feel it now from this beard is coming out with this drink. Wow.
Just make sure you aim it in the right direction, because if it comes out elsewhere, it's really ugly.
Oh, wow.
Dan, are you worried about what might come out of Rome? Let me not even put that word in the... How do you feel?
Okay, that's a good question. I mean, obviously, it's a loaded question. Mm-hmm. It's loaded with meaning that maybe not everybody understands, but there are purported threats that the traditional mass, and maybe by the time you're watching this, something has been announced, that the traditional mass is going to be restricted further than
Like
PC.
the ultimate solution.
Or the final solution is what people are dubbing it, and then in general, we know that Pope Francis doesn't particularly care for the traditional mass. Our Holy Father wants to push forward the vision of the revised liturgy to its fullest extent. So what's going to come out of Rome? Am I worried? There's a sense of like, what am I going to do with my kids? You know, I've got 6 young kids. I don't want them to grow up and think that their dad is some kind of like crazy rebel, you know, for the sake of rebellion. When I was a kid, I was a rebel for rebel's sake.
Yeah.
I think my parents called me rebel without a clue or cause.
Rebel without a cause.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And so, I want the best for them, and I don't want to have to compete with the Holy Father, and it's not my place to do that either. That's where my worry that's what it kind of revolves around. Is how do I father my kids through this?
One thing I've been thinking about is that, so it's a theme in episode 3, and then Eric Sammons and I talked about this, which is, so here's how DeMallory put it in episode 3. That hope is not just a future thing. It's like God will give you what you need. He sees your circumstances, and He will provide the means necessary for your salvation. So, like I've shared this on the stream before. It's kind of weird to say, and it probably takes, well, it's good we're having a longer conversation, but like my most powerful experiences of the Eucharist were at a Novus Ordo Mass at Net Ministries. There's actually a lot of commentary recently on charismatic stuff.
Yeah,
we don't need to get into that because I'm still like, I don't know, I'm processing all of that. But suffice it to say that, like, we believe the Novus Ordo is valid, obviously, and that's like a super low bar. Like, if someone asks you how your marriage is, and you're like, well, it's valid. Like, well, and what else? But that means, and in my interview with Bishop Fillet, I can say I talked with Bishop Fillet. He was talking about how the SSPX says that yes, on the altar at a Novus Ordo Mass is Christ, the crucifixion, the sacrifice of Jesus to the Father. It's all there. But it needs to get to us, and that's what the ritual does, is like gets it to us. So it was a good answer. But that means that, like, if the Latin Mass is utterly taken away, which I don't think it will be. I think there will still be the fraternity, the institute.
Yeah.
SSPX will kind of shrug their shoulders and keep doing what they're doing. They'll still be at the monasteries. Even if it's taken away from dioceses, which would be tragic. Let's say you're in a diocese that only has Novus Ordo. It's like, what would I do? I would first try to move to Latin Mass. Secondly, I would see if there's some kind of canonical loophole, to be honest, because why is this serpent's innocent as doves? Yeah, that's right. So like I would talk to canonists and say, like, how far can we stretch the private mass thing? Like, you know, if those aren't restricted, I would have, you know, my brother-in-law learn like, I would find a way. If I couldn't do that, if I couldn't move, if I couldn't find a Latin Mass another way, God would still provide the means for salvation for me and my family. But I do agree that obviously the Mass Ages trilogy, like I wouldn't have made it if I didn't believe this, that the traditional Mass is a much better carrier of the mysteries and of grace, and it fits like hand in glove with our faith. And so it's like much easier to raise your family with that, because even if you're doing a bad job at home, the liturgy kind of reinforces all the good stuff. But yeah, it's like God will provide the means of salvation. So at the end of the day, it's like, what are we really worried about? You know, I think I'm worried about just suffering more. On the other hand, is it harder then? Because based on what I said, is it harder to raise your family in a meat and potatoes beige Novus Ordo? I'd say yes. Like, it's harder to raise your family in the faith with that. But God always provides the means, so I don't...
Yeah, I think the worry is that, I mean, there's so much of a difference of the approach to the faith now that it might feel like there's a cognitive dissonance to try to raise my kids in a very traditional way in a non-traditional setting, you know.
It does create issues.
It creates issues,
Yeah, it does.
and
Right.
it sets you up as the head of the household as an authority against other authorities, and I just wonder how that, like, what that does to a child as they're growing up.
Right.
And I don't have the answer because I've never raised a kid, so I have to.
Yeah, I think it might sound like a trite explanation. I think 90% of cases you should just move, like like really just find where the Latin Mass are thriving. And
They're not. The problem with that is that it's not for certain, because
if this
people
final
do-
solution comes out
yeah.
and it doesn't affect the Ecclesia Dei communities or monasteries,
It's
or
going
whatever,
to affect them, even if it's not from the Pope himself, because you're going to have bishops that are going to kick out these communities.
yeah, I think you move not with certainty. I mean, we don't know tomorrow is going to come. We might die tonight with whatever Tony mixes us. But
It's true.
I think you can have strong confidence that a fraternity parish is a safe, secure, location.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, I'm blessed because I live in an area where the two dioceses that are neighboring have the Fraternity of St. Peter. It would mean driving an hour or so to get to Mass. In fact, our parish right now, because we just moved house, we moved further away from our parish, so it's an hour and a half. There are some circumstances right now where we're supporting, trying to support a priest who loves the tradition. So we haven't been to that diocese. We're now in a new diocese, and we're considering going to that fraternity parish. But the problem with these places as well is that they're also kind of full up. You know, they're also small buildings a lot of the time.
Yep.
Some of them don't even look like churches. They are just more building-esque. That makes it difficult, I think, for a family to commit to moving somewhere. I think it's the best. It's the most ideal thing to do, and it's probably the most noble thing to do. But it's also something that young families, I don't know if they need to feel guilty about not being in a position where they can do that.
Here's the good thing. We don't know what's going to happen, right? We don't know what's going to happen. But whatever happens, either it's God's will or he allows it to happen, right? I mean, so either way,
Yeah.
it's either God's will, and we have to remember that it could be God's will that something, and again, we don't know what it is, right? We hear rumors or whatever, because it might spark something in people to get them off of the fence,
Yeah.
right? It might spark it might spark somebody to do something that it wouldn't normally do. We don't know, right? We don't know what God has in store. We don't know what he's going to do. So I guess the way I look at it is we move on. St. Alphonsus Liguori said, the only thing to be anxious about is sin,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. That's
Thank
good.
you, my spiritual director, for telling me that.
He's good.
So we don't be anxious about any of that. we just say, okay, whatever it is. And I guess the point that I want to make as it pertains to Mass of the Ages is that we aren't going anywhere.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
We are not going anywhere.
Yeah, right.
And we have
That's interesting. Like, if you're just tuning in and you're like, we're like drinking in this dark kitchen, talking about this document that might come out. It's like, oh yeah, this could be the end. But no, it's like, it would be because of what our mission is. Like, we're trying to bring tradition to Catholics and increase Latin masses. For a time, that might be priests just learning the Latin Mass,
Right.
and they're not openly celebrating it, in defiance or whatever. Like, we're not encouraging that.
Right.
It's like, okay, maybe we're just training priests. Maybe we're making films that just introduce people to their traditions. I like taking some perspective. Like, when you read about the saints, it'll say things like, yeah, they're banished to this jungle, and then they spent 20 years in suffering, and then they came back, and this happened. It's like, we read about that, and it's just a sentence on a page, but like, when you're living in it, it feels like
Sure.
it's everything, and it feels like it's forever. And it's like, when you step back, it's like, okay, if a crisis happens in over 70 years of church history, that's a blip, on the scale.
Right.
When you're in it, it's hard. But like, yeah, I think of Mass Age is just, it will continue because we
have so much. That's the thing that excites me more than anything. You guys have been in the trenches with your nose down, just go get this done. And here I am. I've come in. By the way, if you're just tuning in, my name is Tony Schreiner. Who is this guy? My name is Tony Schreiner, and by the grace of God, it's a privilege and an honor to be the new CEO.
Let's drink to that.
Yay!
Yes, cheers.
Cheers.
The best decision I made as CEO.
That was a good
stepping down as CEO.
Right. Nobody probably knew that you were
I will put it
CEO.
this way: the best decision that you've made as CEO was selecting specifically Tony Schreiner.
No, that's what I mean.
CEO.
That's what I mean.
Well, if I said, yeah, that was the best decision that you stepped down, that could be taken a little differently. So
Yeah.
No, you're the man. You're the man.
Thank you. It's been,
Yeah.
but that's, I come in and I see like, wait, what is this, guys? We have all this
yeah.
momentum. We have all of this, not just talking about digital content that we have that's going to go into the vault, which we'll
yeah.
release in Q3, but we have so many things, opportunities, partnerships, things that are going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to be, no matter what happens, no matter what God puts out there, He's clearly indicated to you and to me individually, this is His will.
Yep.
Right? So we go through this and we do this, and so I'm excited. I know that whatever God puts in our path, either it's His will or He's allowing it, and we're going to find a way to work with it. So
It was at it might have been our very last premiere our showing of the third film, Guardians of Tradition. I think it was in San Francisco, and we were watching it in the theater, and I don't know if Cameron, you thought, yeah, let's get Tony. But I remember turning to you in the movie theater and saying, your best
Oh, I remember this.
documentary is ahead of you. Your best one yet is to come.
yeah.
I believe that.
And I love Guardians of Tradition. It's definitely up there as one of my
Right.
favorites. But I was excited for that then, but I think even more now because you're free from
Yeah.
the burden of having to carry
Right.
Yeah.
an organization. And now we have somebody of pure excellence who's
Yeah.
carried organizations before from nothing to excellence.
We should probably talk about that because people don't know who I am.
Yep.
And I think that's
Okay, I'll ask the question.
Okay.
How dare you?
No,
No, here's the question.
Right.
What gives you the right? No. What? Yeah, tell us about your experience. Is that a nice way to say it? How do you-
Sure.
I mean, you've been a CEO. You've actually started a lot of companies and
Sure. So
been successful.
yes, by the grace of God. So that's what we always had in the back of our, when we first met. I mean, you're a founder and I'm a founder, right? And I think that there's always a connection there. So I started, thanks to my wife, we started a software marketing company several years ago, and it went through its phases, and then got out of that, and then
When you say software marketing, because I've heard you say this, and now I get to ask you questions
Yeah.
while you drink alcohol.
yes,
Software marketing. What type of marketing did you do? Like you, Tony Schreiner.
yeah. We made phone calls.
Okay.
Because we were trying to take this software marketing company who had a product, they had a software product, and we were trying to match them with other organizations.
To phone calls.
Absolutely, yeah. We would pick up the phone and we would call C-level people.
I love that.
At huge organizations, and we would spend weeks trying to get to this one person, right?
Wow.
Because if we can make that connection, because the software that they were selling was millions of dollars. So if we made that connection, they were going to make money. We were going to be looked at as like, you guys did great. You made this connection. And we did that, several times. I was good at it. Allison was great at it. My wife, Allison, she's just great at talking to people, building relationships. So we did that, and that worked really well. And then they started outsourcing some things, and then we kept having more kids. You have 6?
Yeah.
You have 6?
Yep.
I have 9.
Yes.
So
We'll get there.
Yeah.
you will get there. Yeah, you'll get there. So then we fast forward to, I guess, 2015. We started, Allison and I started another endeavor, an actual software company. I saw this need in the market because I was selling software. We started a software company, an actual company, not marketing it, but actual, hey, let's find somebody who can code and make this. So we did that. And as you know, when you start something from nothing, it's just, laughing, crying, sweating, bleeding. You don't sleep.
Yeah.
It's just, and so we did that. So we,
I like how you say you and Allison, because like you mentioned the relief from bringing on Tony as CEO. Like Amber, my wife, has had so much relief as well, because it's been just
She's
as
with
much
you.
hers.
she's with you every step of the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Because this is what happens undoubtedly at the end of every day. We work from home, or if we're traveling, and we go to our wives, and they want to just talk to an adult because they've been talking to
Yes,
kids all day.
exactly.
They just want to talk to an adult, and all we're going to talk about is work.
Yeah.
Like, can you believe this? I'm this software thing, this widget, I'm filming here, Amber, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Yes, dear. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Like,
I told Amber, don't ask me how my day was. Ask me what I did, because that's an easier question to ask.
Right.
I'm like, well, I did that, and then this,
Right.
and then that,
Right.
and then eventually I get into this was so hard,
But the cool thing is that after a while, then they're a part of it, right? They're always a part of it, and then they help with some wisdom and some
yeah.
advice, and then you're just like, oh yeah. And then I took that, and then I made it my idea. And so, like in the past, and then other employees would be like, "Yeah, Tony, that was such a great thing." And then we'd be all together, and Allison would be like, "Oh, that thing that I said." Yes, babe, I meant to express that was your idea. I just never had the time, right, to do that. But so started a software company, and then it was great. It was we had a great team, and still do, because the software company is still going on, and in 2021, I felt like God clearly was telling me to leave the company. He made it clear, like, it's time for you to move on, which took quite a while, because I didn't want to do that, because it was extremely profitable, and I had many advisors, people that I would turn to in the world of software, and they said, that's the dumbest thing to do right now. Like, you're about to really milk
Right.
this cash cow.
Did you feel like you were giving up something big when you did that? Or did you feel like you're getting out?
I felt like it was the best thing for me to do was to be obedient to God, because for all of my life, I was just really obedient to me, which is pride. So so I finally had this opportunity to show God and to do what is right. You know, not just to say like, oh well, I'm doing this so that I can get these brownie points with God. No, because I realized I was trying to have a relationship with Him. I mean, you guys in your faith walk, you've been through a lot, and Allie and I are still really just kind of getting into some things. And so I saw this as I need to be obedient to God. Like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I saw the money that was left on the table, but I thought, okay, this is what, and I told Allison, well, this is what I feel like God is saying. And she's like, well, then you got to do it. Like, she was like, if that's what you're telling me, then you've got to do that, right? And so went through that process of, so now we're just minority owners of the software company. So I have no responsibilities whatsoever. So I had this kind of 2-year hiatus of working, which was really weird. And I even have told people, like, yeah, I guess I'm retired. Like, I didn't know what I was doing, right? I was like, I don't know. And they're like, what, you're retired? Like, well, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard of. You're 49 years old. So, but when you came over, I don't know, a month ago, or whenever it was.
It was very recent.
Yeah,
That's
not
crazy.
too long ago. And you
Feels like a lot longer.
I know it does. And then you asked that question, and then, man, the Lord was right there.
Yeah.
It was right there. And so here we are. So started something from nothing, which you know all about that. And Dan, you've been with him for over 2 years. So you know
Frodo and
about
Sam. And you
Here we go,
are-
Tom. Tom,
And
can
you are.
Tom, will you please help me? Tom is running all of the cameras and everything.
You guys could be Merry and Pippin.
Tom-
No. Oh, here we
Tom
go.
has his token encyclopedia open, and he's like
he does.
frantically.
Wait, which one was this again?
Tom, if you don't help me out here, I'm literally going to get eaten up by
Some
Bert and Ernie nerds over here. This is. But it's okay.
I think it's about time for you to mix us a drink.
Okay.
Oh, should I rinse these
Oh,
out
it is.
first?
Tony's got to finish that,
This
right?
is, you guys are like, the beard is.
It's a filter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Filters out.
We're good. Rinse
Okay,
them out.
good.
All right.
I'll make a
You want to
drink.
mix next?
I will make a drink for you guys. I got to figure out what we're going
It's
to
gonna
do.
be even better than Dan's explanation.
I'm not going to run through what Dan
okay.
did.
All right.
I mean, but that's, Dan, that's what's cool about you is that you
Yeah.
have researched this.
Culture.
You know everything about it. I'm just going to grab a Ginsu knife and start cutting
I
some.
don't even know what that is.
Could you get us some ice?
I can.
Please and thank you. Or do you want the cups? Or what are you gonna?
I'm gonna use one.
Okay. All right.
What are your ingredients here?
I have to decide what I'm gonna make you.
Oh, okay.
I want Tom to decide. Tom, do you want the guys to have limoncello or vodka? And limoncello is vodka with lemon peels, but do you want?
Didn't you make the limoncello?
I didn't make this one,
Oh.
but this is the cream of the crop. So
I want to try.
So I think
I saw it. I'm like, oh, it's actually potato.
Is this
vodka.
Aquafina?
None of this
I'm
great
thinking,
vodka.
I'm thinking limoncello as long as you make a four.
you want some?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna make that.
The camera angles are gonna start going Dutch and out of focus. Paul will start getting really excited, do some like zooms.
Oh man.
Oh, that's funny.
So we need to get.
See?
Those are mine. We need to get a glass for Tom.
Yeah, get him the cutest glass you can find.
The cutest glass. Okay, so I've got to break out the Chopin though. So here's what we're gonna do. So Tom, what if I'm gonna look? I love you and I appreciate your recommendation, but I'm gonna give you.
That's Tom's glass.
It better be strong.
Oh yeah, well, one for the queen, please.
Wait,
I know.
country.
Stop. She's dead. She's dead. I don't know what to do with this. Oh wait.
Is I'm the Queen of France, maybe.
in a British accent. Okay.
Okay, we're gonna do something cleaner and crisper.
Okay.
Will you drink it anyway?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh,
That's for Tom.
Okay. 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 So here's what we're gonna do. We're going to
They
do.
didn't have anything in your color. I'm sorry, Tom.
here with the squirrel. And we're going to do Chopin.
Nice. That looks
This is
refined.
extra rare young potato vodka.
Is it going to be like a sonata in my mouth?
Yes.
Okay.
It could be a symphony.
Okay.
It could be the whole thing. So we're going to do that with Sprite. So I'm going to need one more Sprite out of the fridge.
Alrighty.
And then we're going to do some lime, not orange. And then we're going to even throw in spearmint. Are you guys,
May I sip the vodka
please,
just to try it without it?
please, this is the kind to do that. Do you want to just put a little bit in there?
I'll put a little bit in there, but I do want your drink as well. But
Okay, yeah.
I just want to
Yeah.
try this.
It's got extra vitamins and minerals.
Really?
Not really, I don't know. I just-
It's
Part of a balanced breakfast.
yes, with the cornflakes.
You know, they say that, vodka's made of potatoes, right?
Yeah, it's a vegetable.
But most vodka is not made of potatoes. It's made of some kind of grain. They just lie to you.
Really?
This is actually potato vodka.
Yeah, that's the best kind.
Okay, now I want to try a little.
You wanna try a little?
juice?
Tastes like French fries.
Like, what?
It does not. It tastes really smooth. Though.
It's a smooth one. It's a smooth one. Okay. Okay. What do you think?
It's really good. Yeah, you can make
Okay.
make
I'm gonna make you a drink now.
a drink.
Okay. I'm gonna. You done? You want to do some more? We're gonna,
Well, just mix your drink.
I'm gonna. Okay.
So good.
All right.
I
So
like it.
we're gonna do this. This is simple. I've only had clear liquor
Yeah.
for probably the last 2 decades. Like that's the first time. Yeah.
I just gave you
What
a
you
bunch
right?
of dark stuff.
Right. That was crazy.
And then we're gonna end with some dark stuff too.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Oh, it might not be dark. It, could
It might
light.
be the brightest stuff you've ever seen.
Oh. Okay.
So this is a limoncello, right?
No.
Oh,
This is
okay.
not. This is just vodka Sprite
Oh, okay.
with
Gotcha.
with lime. We got to get some lime going here,
Nice.
and we're going to put some spearmint in there as well.
That looks like it might be from your garden. Is that spearmint from your?
It is. It is from the garden. Yes. So we're going to do this bad boy. Put it
Nice.
in there. We're going to get you a little sprig of spearmint.
Nice.
Tom, this is for you, with love,
Get him a bendy straw.
Yeah.
and
Oh, very nice. People know Tom. He's our cinematographer. All 3 films. If you've seen it, he shot it. I think that sentence makes sense.
we're going to do the.
Oh no, that's.
Oh, sorry.
You do it when it's only just.
Oh, Dan!
We did it the other way.
Dan, it's your fault.
It's like somebody dribbling.
Okay, that's good. We're going to get you some spearmint.
Nice.
Oh, thank you. It smells so good. I'm not going to drink it until we've
You want
toasted.
that?
Oh yes, please.
Okay, a little bit of this.
What is this called?
Vodka Sprite.
Okay.
Do-
I thought you
we
said
should
something else then.
we should probably. I didn't stir up yours, Tom, because I wanted you to have some fun behind the scenes over there. So we're just going to do a quick little stir,
Thank you.
and we do a quick little stir. Quick stir. You want to keep that spearmint up so you can smell it when you're drinking.
Nice.
Love that. That's so good.
Yeah.
Cheers.
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 Thank you.
I can smell the spearmint. It's so fresh.
Now that's just.
Oh, that's just refreshing.
It's a lovely drink.
That was fun. That's good.
Should we give them ratings? 1 out of out of 2?
What is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 2 for me.
It's a 2.
It's a strong 2.
It is.
Like a solid
2 thumbs up.
Okay.
Yeah. What? How is that ever a rating system? Like thumbs? Who came up with that?
Well, thumbs
Should you watch the film? Well, out of my 2 thumbs, I give both of them 1 thumb up.
Yeah,
But then we had a toe the other day, didn't we? You had your toe.
no, he had.
No, I voted with my toe.
He-
Just to give a little bonus.
But we never understood it. What did it mean?
Not
Okay,
you said
so-
not
You
as
said
much as a
2
thumb.
No, you said 1 thumb up,
And a toe.
1 thumb sideways,
And a toe up.
and a toe up.
Okay, so
it's
thumb
like
sideways is
3/4 of
obviously
the-
a half a thumb,
So is it more like that?
and a toe is a fraction of a finger.
Tom, are all these
Still
thumbs up
can't do
going to
that
cause
math.
problems for the thing?
It is.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, are we?
I told you. I'm the only one that listens, Tom. I'm the
I had
only.
figured it out and turned it off, but it wasn't.
I'm the only one that listens.
I've been frantically Googling it.
Oh,
See?
Fine. Well, we're in it now, so.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, cool. Does it go away though?
It does.
Like,
Okay.
is it just little thumbs up, or is it
Bubbles that come
like
up on the screen.
big?
I'm telling you.
Quite large.
Okay.
Yeah, but they've
Tony, I'd love to hear about what a sales call that went really bad. Do you have an example of like you tried to do a sell and it just flopped?
Yes. You want that story?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it involves donuts.
Yes.
So
I love
before I was in software, I was a stockbroker, and I don't know why this happened, but I would eat a dozen donuts a day.
He told that to me and Amber. And Amber's like, no, but really?
No, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't believe
No,
it.
I mean-
no way. You've ever eaten more than one donut in your life.
I'm gonna munch on Bill's donuts. And
I bought some donuts.
So no, it was just this. I've always had high metabolism.
Yeah.
So I would, and so
A dozen a day.
a dozen a day. Yes, right.
What else would you eat during the day though?
Well, in the morning it was usually it was a sausage, egg, cheese, on a bagel or croissant. Because
Wrapped in 6 donuts.
right in between the donuts, because we had this routine. The guy that I worked for, the principal of our group, we had this routine, and I applaud him because you had to have a routine. So we did all these things before the market opened. So we had all these things. We would get up at 5 a.m. We would eat at 6 a.m. And then we would get to the office and we would actually watch all the pre-market activity
Yeah.
and to know what was going on. So at any rate, so it was just one of those things where I love donuts and I ate a lot of donuts.
So was that part of your pre-market routine?
I was a part of my pre-market routine, but I ate
If
all
I
these
had
donuts.
a dozen donuts, I was doing call. Those just go together so well. I can just like donut call, get the sell,
Right.
eat the rest of it.
Right.
Did you not feel sick? Like,
Well, this is the story.
Okay.
This is the story. So had donuts, and this is usually what would happen: is I would have 6 or 8, keep some in there.
I need to get 6 or 8 in before I do my calls.
Not 7.
Not around 7. It was definitely 6 or 8.
If it was a good day.
You would have eaten your 6th, and then you would have been like, "Are we going to do it? Are we going to do the extra 2 now?"
You say you do aside, you're just ready to eat them both.
So we anyway.
Oh,
so
okay.
it was an even number. We just had to have an even number. So I would leave the rest in the front seat of the car, just because I would eat more donuts as I'm driving to a sales call. Like I'm gonna go try to get a client to get more money or to invest more money. So anyway, so I'm driving and I've got donuts in the front seat of the car. Got donuts in the front seat of the car. And I'm tooling along. I'm not noticing what's my rate of speed. Like I'm
I was just going to say what your bowels were doing.
no, well, that's a different story, but we're not going to do that one. I'm driving too fast. I get pulled over. Guy's like, "Do you understand?" The gentleman, the officer's
You
like,
didn't bribe him with donuts, did you?
I did not bribe him with donuts. And
Classic cop donut story.
right. He says, he's like, "Oh, really?" Like, because he's looking at my front seat, and there's the donuts are open. They say, "Oh, you're driving and eating donuts." And
Illegal.
it's not illegal, actually. I was like, he was like, and you're speeding. And I was just like dumbfounded. I was like, "Officer, I'm sorry. I was going really fast." Anyway, late to the appointment. So I get there to this client, late to the appointment, and he's like, "Well, you're late." I was like, "I know, I got pulled over, but he didn't give me a ticket because I had donuts in the front seat, and he felt sorry for me or something." I don't even know what's going on right now.
Something really.
Right. So
Yeah, something happened to this guy that got him to buy a dozen donuts for himself. Yeah.
right. So I get to the I get to the meeting, I'm late, he's upset, and it's, we had this kind of awkward exchange, and he was like, well, you obviously don't want my business because you were late. And I was like, Mr. I forget his last name, whoever it was. I said, I'm really, really sorry. And I was super young. I was 20 something. And so I didn't really understand how to try to salvage the relationship. And then I was just like, look, cut me a break here. I'm trying to earn your business or whatever. Long story short, he was like, I don't want to do business with you because you can't even be here on time. So I drive back to my office and I'm just pounding donuts. Like, I'm just so so sad. Like, oh man, I can't believe he's upset at me because I got pulled over. So anyway, there's many. Well, you lose more sales, you get more no's than you get yeses, right?
It's hard to sell on the phone. Like,
right.
Just doing a call on the phone.
I don't know if he got any of that, but he wasn't on the phone.
Well, it was in person.
That was the driving part,
Yeah. But I did make, I think we were required to make anywhere between 120 to 150 dials a day.
You could have given him a donut.
You
had the tools. With you
didn't really know what to do.
Repair the relationship.
Yeah, cops love donuts.
I didn't know what to do. I really didn't. I was dumbfounded that this guy was so upset that I was 20 minutes late. I was like, come on, I told you I got pulled over.
And you probably left like the bad ones. Like you probably ate all the sprinkles.
Here's the thing: there, first of all, never sprinkles.
Okay,
it was always glazed or chocolate.
I knew you were the kind.
Yeah, right. So it was. There's so more no's than yeses, but that's just life. We all get that, right? I mean, we all get the no's, and then we just keep plugging away. So here we are, and we've got the opportunities that we have are tremendous, right? And we hear, we could hear a no from the Vatican, right? We could hear a no. We can hear something that we don't want to hear, but we keep praying for the Holy Father. We keep praying for anybody who doesn't get it, because we all know that this is a gift, right? It's a gift that we have been given, and it's not going anywhere, right? It's something might change, something might look a little different than we thought it would look, but it's not going anywhere. We will keep it alive. If that has to be our job, right? If that has to be what Mass of the Ages does, we'll keep it alive. We'll keep it alive, and we'll do things that, well, we didn't know we were even going to do this, but by golly.
Speaking of that, have you thought about, because a while ago, probably a year ago, I talked to you about some ideas for a Mass of the Ages app.
Yeah.
Have you given any thought to that? Like, with your background in software, like what I would love to see is an app that helps people pray with the liturgical year. People are familiar with Liturgy of the Home. They make awesome like print resources. So like a digital version of that incorporates the Liturgy of the Hours, sacred music, but also is kind of helps build. These might be, and maybe these are two separate apps. I don't know when you would split an app into two, but I'd love something that helps local Latin Mass communities connect with each other, because they live so far away, and they drive in for Sunday, and then it's hard to make community. But we just met a couple 2 weeks ago or so that lived in our neighborhood. And it's like people are driving from all over, but like there's people in our city who were meeting, like, oh my gosh, you're down the street, like we should hang out. So if there was like I almost think of it as like if each parish had their own page within the app, and then people could communicate with each other and make threads and plan stuff, and maybe take a lot of it is kind of brainstorming, but taking some of the heavy lifting off the pastor's shoulders, like make a bulletin each week. And like if people had this app that doubled as like a Latin Mass finder, a prayer app, a community app, It was like the Latin Mass, community app. Maybe that's too many.
Yeah, well, here's the way that I look at it. I mean, I think technology is great. I think that we already have the components to do these things. I don't think we need to do it on an app. We've talked about the vault and everything that can go in there, and it can be this, not just a treasure trove of things that we've done, but new things. Like, hey, this is a fresh thing. It's not something from episode 1 or something that's we just held on to and put into the vault, but it's something fresh that you can get this information or get this music. We've talked about that a lot, but I think a lot about the ambassador program that we talked about. I think that is where we're going to be able to, and that's where I just keep jotting down ideas and trying to figure out how do we, and that's one of the things that we're going to.
Yeah, we have people come up to us and be like, I just want to help.
Right.
They're not even asking for a job
Right.
or money or credit or anything. They just want to help the mission.
Right.
We have a lot of people come up to us, and
Right.
we're thinking of the best way to utilize that
Right. Right.
offering.
Having a section in the vault that was for community purposes
Yes.
called Coffee and
Donuts.
You're there with your box
Yeah,
donuts.
right.
You do a daily live stream where you eat donuts and talk.
That's it.
Allison put the kibosh on donuts at the house. She was like, it's not good. It's not good.
Me or the donuts?
Well, I mean, the kids go mad. The kids go mad because if we have...
I thought about bringing donuts to your house before here, but I realized I had 12, and I was like, wait a second.
How many kids does he have again?
There would be bloodshed. Like, you got 2? Like, I only got 1. No, it's bad. It's bad.
My kids were fighting over Tic Tacs the other day. Like, we gave them flavored Tic Tacs. One of the kids got 3 because we thought one of them fell. But they got a third, and everyone else got 2. And some of our kids were losing their minds.
Over
They
Tic
could,
Tac. Right,
they could
right.
not be consoled.
Yep.
That's very real.
No, that's right. That's just that's a legitimate thing. So, yeah,
Who's your favorite kid?
Wow.
Okay, you're
wow.
the favorite.
Right. That's a great question. When
You're in the. How old's your oldest?
oldest is 26.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, oldest is 26, and the youngest is 1. And
Nice spread.
yeah, it's great. I mean, there's always 7 are in the house.
Yeah.
2 of them are out.
I just realized I don't like you because you look 26, just with a little bit of grey hair, and that's it. And you have a 26-year-old. It's not fair.
Well, I have
Probably do a kickflip on a skateboard, right?
I have a
imagine
Sharpie, a black Sharpie in the car, and I use it to hide the grays. There's like 4 empty Sharpies in the car that everywhere I go, I'm putting the Sharpies on my hair.
Have you caught up on sleep yet? Because you have a 1-year-old, so you're still not sleeping at night, or are you?
That's the great thing about Allison is that she does 99% of the work when it comes to that.
Timothy Gordon would approve of that.
You just made it hard for Tom. Make with that thumbs up. You got to watch.
Oh
the thumbs.
shoot! I turned him off. Okay, great.
You get turned them
Great.
off. Okay. I just want you to know, Tom, I'm here trying to help. I'm trying to. Anyway, so yes, it's great. Everything's great at home. 7 of the 9 are still at home.
Let's toast our wives.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Sarah, Amber, Allison.
Boom. I call my wife CWIFO
Oh,
as her title, so I'm excited to talk to Allison tomorrow and say
Right.
call her the CWIFO.
she'll probably say.
What?
I'm just saying.
I don't get it.
Yeah, right. No, don't do that. Don't tell me that. She's
Chief,
pumped up.
wife officer.
Yeah, no, she's pumped up about tea time. She's pumped up about tea time.
I brought you guys a tea gift.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, both of us? You said you guys.
You guys meaning me and Allison.
Oh.
Yeah, must be your wife, because I know you also don't drink tea, but you'll try
I do
it.
drink tea.
No, you told me, you were like, my wife likes tea, and
I will drink
I'll drink it, but she loves it.
right. No, that's probably what I said. I want coffee. She usually wants coffee. It took me years to get her to drink coffee. Then she started drinking coffee, and now
Dan got me into tea, and now I will never be not
Okay,
with tea.
quick tangent.
Nice. Proselytism.
There you go. Thank you. I came to America, and the tea is just not very good for a Brit standard. But then again, our tea isn't from England. It's not like we grow tea in our gardens and then just make it into cups. It's from India. It's all from India. You love curry. I love curry. You have great Indian grocery stores here. So I over the years I've been collecting teas and blending them, and then now I've made my own blend of tea. So I brought you guys some of that.
oh wow,
Midnight in.
This one's called Mornings on the Farm,
Gotcha.
and then I have a one for the end of the day called Evenings on the Farm. But
I've had that one.
The evening one doesn't have caffeine. The morning one does.
oh,
Yeah.
I
And then there's a coffee roast blend that I do. It's coffee. That's called Work on the Farm, and it's a pan roasted according to this like Azorean Portuguese method, which I learned from this old like Azorean mother, who that's how she grew up. Like they would just get these green coffee beans that would come in on the ships, and you pan roast them with sugar. That's it. Like on the stove, like in your kitchen.
green beans, like the
Yeah,
green.
they're green. They taste disgusting. Like they taste beany and greeny.
Right.
And then you
Refried beans.
yeah, they do have a sort of refried beans mixed with like kale flavor. It's not nice. But you roast them on the stove with a bit of sugar, and then grind it up, and it's wonderful coffee. So we do that too, but I didn't bring you that. But I did bring you Mornings on the Farm.
Nice.
Okay.
So we'll have some of that tomorrow
Good.
morning.
Do you have that with milk or no?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, it's. I made it because I couldn't find good tea here. And the tea that we have in England is always black tea. If you say to a Brit, "Do you want a cup of tea?" In their mind, the only thing they're
Right.
thinking
They wouldn't
is
say-
black tea.
They wouldn't say what kind.
Yeah, they're not thinking like, "Oh, do you have raspberry tea?
Yeah,
Do you have
yeah,
lemon?
yeah,
Do you have
yeah,
mint?"
yeah.
No, they're just thinking.
I dig
black
that though.
tea.
That's
That's just what tea
Right.
is.
that is true. That is what tea is.
Yeah.
That's what America will do. Is they will frou and make it all these extra things. Like, come on, we don't need that. So, and she's pumped to show you the tea set.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Put our tea in it. It'll be good.
Yeah. Right.
That's awesome.
Are you done?
Cheers.
Can be. Yeah.
Here it is. I'm already done.
Done already? Okay.
So are we moving on to the next one? The
Yeah,
final
I
one?
think it's about time.
Okay.
About time.
Are you guys good for me to get rid of this?
Yep.
I'll rinse it out. We'll give it a good scrubbing.
Great. So, oh, here's a good idea.
Yes.
Before we get too much into alcohol, we should probably mention that we are. I'll wait till that faucet turns off.
Okay.
That's not good for the vocals. We're hiring a development director.
Yes.
The most important hire for us right now is a development director. So, Tony,
Yes.
what kind of development director are we looking for?
We are looking for an individual that has the passion that we have for.
You gotta have zeal for the traditional Latin.
Right. You got to have the zeal, got to have the passion. It's got to be pumping through your veins. But you also have to be able to build relationships, foster those relationships, because a development director is all about connecting with people, and whether it's a tangible donation immediately, something that's a recurring gift, a one-time gift. It could be getting something into a trust or a will. That's all of those things encompass the work for the development director. And there may be somebody who has never done development before, but they have the zeal. They have the ability to do these things. So we really just want to open it up to the world. That we need. This is a critical hire because we have so much that we want to accomplish. There's so many things that we know we can do right now,
Oh my gosh.
and we need the people.
It is So a lot of organizations hire. I'm just going to this camera, Tom. You gotta go with me. I'm here. I've seen television before, and they go to different cameras, so I'm going to this one. We're hiring a development director, and a lot of organizations hire a development director because they need to like build up their organization from nothing. We're sitting on a treasure trove of content, of opportunity, of contacts that we need someone to just come in and execute upon. Someone to come in, make calls, set up meetings. If you love relationships, if you love telling people about the traditional Latin Mass, if you love what we do, we'd love to talk to you. So reach out to us.
Right. One of you said zeal. I forget which one. But that makes me think of there's 4 other values that Mass of the Ages has. So if these resonate with you.
Right.
Zeal, which we just explained. Hustle. So you got to be willing to put in the work. You got to
That's right.
work smarter, not necessarily longer, but harder. You gotta be able to work hard. Encouragement. So that's more of an internal team thing. You can't just be a brazen, I'm gonna do what I want to do. You got to be able to work as a team. Embrace conflict. So you can't be all fuzzy around the edges. Like, you got to say it like it is. Our mission is too important to care about hurting one another's feelings. That's why we encourage as well. We have encouragement and embrace conflict together. Those both go together. So we're stronger together. We embrace conflict because the mission is too important. We want to do what's best. And the last one is excellence. Everything we do, everything we put out there, we want it to be excellent. So if those fit you, we're looking for you. And we think the opportunity is huge.
It is. It really is. Yep.
So here's my mixed drink. It's just 4 steps.
Okay.
Okay, so you get your box.
Yeah.
You get your box of Scotch.
I can see it's got a blue label on it.
Yeah, it's got a blue label. You can get any color label you want.
Yeah.
As long as it's blue.
Now, normally, you'd have to get your box cutter out.
Yeah.
But look, this one comes with a little flat.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So you don't have to cut it open. Take out the...
I don't think it comes
This is
out.
the hardest part. Okay.
Oh, it does come out.
They only give you that much.
Wow, it's a
I think I'm on
it
step
settles
3.
in shipping.
Okay, so there's just 2 ingredients. There's the cup and this, and you mix them together. Okay, how much?
Wow. Pause it all.
You just splash it in there. So you say the word splash,
Yeah.
and that's how much you put in.
Thank you.
It's wonderful.
And then if you want some more, just help yourself to some more.
Thank you.
And then you can mix it with an ice cube if you want.
Okay.
I'll allow it.
Okay.
Okay.
That's it.
Can I propose a toast?
Yeah, but mix it together.
Okay.
Oh,
Here's the toast.
Okay.
It's from the scriptures, and the toast is: the steadfast love of the Lord never ceases, and then you respond: His mercy
endures
never comes
to an end.
Okay. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases.
His mercies never come to an end.
Mm.
I pray that over my kids every night.
Oh,
Actually,
nice.
that's our blessing.
wow.
That's good. So,
Wow.
so one way to enjoy Scotch is you just let it fall into the back of your throat instead of, so you can swallow it, obviously. That's how you drink drinks. But you just let it kind of on your tongue, and you breathe in air, kind of activate the flavors of it.
It tastes like you're wringing out a Highlander's kilt into your mouth.
Exactly. Thank you, Dan. Exactly.
I hope that we all have kilts at some point.
Yeah.
Will
Can
that
we bring
happen?
that back?
I'm ready to wear a kilt.
What do you mean bring it back? We've never had it. It's not like, you know, back in the day, Americans, they all had kilts.
I'm pretty
A
sure
lot of them.
Braveheart was shot in Texas, wasn't it?
It might have been.
Mel, will you please call us so that we can get killed?
Thank you to the donor who gave this to me as a gift. You know. who you
Yes.
That's very nice. Very generous.
are. Thank you. It's really good.
That's amazing.
Like, seriously, if you just take it on your tongue and kind of breathe in as you drink. Oh yeah, it's really good. So like, when's the last time you had a Scotch?
I'm 49. It might have been in my 20s.
Okay. Interesting.
It wasn't anywhere near.
It wasn't this though. No, it wasn't this. Nope. That was. I will grow a beard now, probably. It might happen.
It's fireplacey.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
If you had to decide what is the next Mass of the Ages film, and no one could give you any opinions, you said you had to decide.
I would love that, and it would. Just
I would love to make that decision.
I mean, I'd love to make the decision, not to make the film. I would need the help to make the film.
Next
But
Mass Ages feature film.
concept would just be a history of the traditional mass. I know that you think it should be in a short film. I know that's we've had that. The history of the traditional mass over the ages. How has it changed? I just hear a lot online. You know, it's a spectrum of things. It's like, well, the traditional mass is only 400 or 500 years old anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and then other people are like, the traditional mass came from Jesus. You know, like that's the spectrum. And we kind of need to sort out.
Wow.
Jesus said the traditional Latin Mass. Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
That's the thing that I've heard. I've heard both of those things. So we need to sort out the middle. But it's like, you have to take people on an adventure to do that. And it has to be entertaining, but it also has to be historical. That would be it.
How do you do that in one? How deep do you go in history? You know, if you're talking about the entire history.
So I think the sort of aha moment of the movie would be a similar graphic to the aha moment of episode 2. So you have the missile being cut out, but this instead would be kind of a timeline that somehow, in an animated way, like showed the organic growth and the gradual growth, and then the great rupture that kind of happens after Vatican II of like the main line of liturgy. Just the whole paradigm is shifted and changed. So then when people say, well, the liturgy is 500 years old, they can see, well, actually, it wasn't that different than when in the year, 1000.
What they're really saying is basically nothing has changed in 500 years, which is saying a lot. Like that's like solid tradition.
Yeah.
Like unfettered.
Yeah.
Not unfettered, but like unmarked. Like it's just been staying the same.
So the whole movie would kind of build up to that, but it would take you on a journey. You'd be around. We'd have to answer questions about other liturgies as well that grew up organically from the time of
Talking about a new
Christ.
trilogy. That's what you're talking about.
Am I?
Yeah, you are.
I was gonna say, I was like, you cannot do that. There's no way that's one film.
But I mean, it's a fair question. Like, we've got to know about these other great.
That's interesting.
Patrimonies.
It's very interesting. I mean, our goal is to double Latin masses.
So it would be geared towards Latin Mass, but it would be in a way that kind of addresses that. Like, there's these other things. The quality of them is that they have organically developed over time to a certain degree and have and like they have a connection. The only odd duck are the ones that are affected by Vatican II, the Maronite Rite, the Novus Ordo. Like these ones are affected by that. The other ones have a certain integrity to them. Why? How? What does it mean?
So do you want to go into the other rites?
No, I don't. But I think it would be helpful to just show that, like, over time, it's not just the Latin Rite that has slowly developed and changed or evolved. Evolved is a loaded word, but
It's like Pokemon.
Yeah, like
it's exactly like Pokemon.
leveled up.
Here we go, Tom. Tom, we're about to
Tom,
be.
help.
Yep, it's happening.
How do we bring this to Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, my goodness.
When Gandalf the Grey evolved into Gandalf the White, which
there
is
we
basically like the Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although that was pretty drastic, so one could say.
As the CEO,
Well, don't spoil-
we're cutting this off right here. Give me
Stay
time.
focused.
Give me time to watch these things.
All right, it's your turn then. What would
yes.
you do?
Mass Ages film.
It would be.
You and Allison, you have all the footage. Go.
Yes. It would be on the Eucharist.
You have all the money.
It'd be on the Eucharist. It'd be on the Eucharist. We need to bring. Look, whatever happens in the next month, 3 months, whatever. It doesn't matter because God put us here right now for a reason. And what's the one thing that's a part of the old Mass and the new Mass? It's the Eucharist, right? So I think that's how we connect with people who, I mean, Allison and I are relatively new to this.
That's an asset to you.
Right. No, it
It's a
absolutely
massive
is.
asset to you.
Yeah.
So we come into this saying,
Massively it is.
it's a massive asset.
Yeah.
So we see that as, wow,
Massive
we
asset.
were just right there. We were just right there. And we say, well, the one thing that's present in both is the Eucharist, which we know is a part of that valid Mass. And even if it's one of those like, wow, we're on vacation and it's a new Mass and it's, I don't want to use the word brutal because that wouldn't be the right way of saying it, but it was just very different and not traditional.
Casual.
Yeah, very casual. But we went there to pray and to acknowledge that this is the holy sacrifice of the Mass, even though it's not in extraordinary form, and we want to receive Jesus in the Eucharist. So I think that's the tone that we set.
When you say the Eucharist, so like, let's say our fourth film is on the Eucharist. Would you talk about theology, the history, the manner of receiving communion?
Yes, all of it. I mean, whatever we need to do to draw in newness into the movement, right? We want to draw in the people who are saying,
You're right. Mine would be a pet project, I think.
No, but it would be awesome. It would be one of those like, yes.
No, but you're right, though. You're absolutely right. Like, yours would be more universal.
Right.
Mine is going to be more either a pet project just to kind of like sort out the weeds, but we don't need to be in the weeds. We need to go to the back to the basics.
Yeah. So
To the margins.
yeah. So if we can bring in more people that way, because we were there just a few years ago. We were like, wow, what is this thing at our parish? I was going to low masses because I was going to daily mass, dropping off the kids at the school before we started homeschooling. And I remember the Lord clearly said to me, this is where I want you to take the family. You're going to go to on Sunday, I want you to go to the...
Was it that or that there was a donut shop right by?
No. There was no donuts involved.
Donut Sundays.
Yeah.
Donuts happened.
Do you have
regardless.
donuts? Do you have donuts? Do you have donuts?
There's the church. There's the donut shop.
Same parish.
It's a sign.
We were at the parish already, though, that had the Mass in extraordinary form, and we just never went.
My parish serves Bill's Donuts on Sundays.
Is that a fact?
First and third.
Traditional
first
Latin
Sunday
donuts.
and third Sundays,
TLDs.
Yeah.
which is the best donut shop in America.
Oh,
So
wow.
That's
Wow.
But according to whom, Cameron? Is it really the
USA
the
magazine
United States
or
of
whatever.
America.
The US of the A?
Yeah, a magazine.
Oh.
So I
Just
guess
the magazine?
Biden's magazine.
Oh. Okay.
The one he writes. I don't know.
That took a turn.
Sorry.
I didn't know he was writing or speaking. I didn't know.
Yeah. He probably has a ghostwriter. I mean, he is a bit of a ghost.
He has a ghost speaker too.
Probably true.
So he just like mouths the words and someone else speaks, I think.
It could be. It could be.
I think you're right. But okay, at this point, we don't know what the next film is. If I had to make the decision today on what I thought was the best route, it would be on the Eucharist. For the reason that we made Mass.
Wait, before he said that, did you think that as well?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that.
So when we made Mass the Ages trilogy, we were thinking about a scale of like 1 to 10, and like you can make a scale on anything. So the 1 for us is just a nominal Catholic, right? And 10 is like someone who's like Lex Orandi, Lex Credendi bumper sticker. Like they're obviously gonna love our films. No matter what we make, they're gonna love it. If we want to double Latin masses, it does no good to make a film for the 8s, 9s, and 10s who are like already on board.
Right.
So we want to make a film for the threes and the fours,
Right.
which we bring up in our organization a lot. I think a Eucharist film would target the ones and the twos and the threes. It would like cast a wider net around an audience and then bring them in. I've given some thought to this, and I think that I don't know if you start with, because it could be interesting to start with the history. Just remind Catholics what the Eucharist is and how crazy it is as a belief. It's crazy.
Right.
It is bonkers.
Oh, it's bonkers. You explain it to your kids. You try to
Yeah.
get your kids on board with it, and then you realize
What am I saying?
this is bonkers.
yeah. What am I saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like this requires like the gift of faith. It's
Right.
not an intellectual thing.
God,
It's not irrational. It is non-rational.
so God in the Old Testament is simultaneously like, he has these movements of transcendence. He's like unutterable Yahweh. We can't know him or speak of him, but yet he's here in the Holy of Holies. He's overshadowing it. So there's like this immanence and transcendence in God. And then in the New Testament, he becomes completely immanent in a man.
He's
Jesus, he's here.
He's
and you can
Emmanuel.
touch him.
Right.
And then he becomes our food to be with us to the end of time.
Right.
And at every Mass, no matter if the priest is fumbling around and, only kind of believes and whatever, if he's intending to confect the Eucharist, then he comes to yawning faces and people who, hide him away or steal him away and do unspeakable things, and he still comes. So like, it's crazy if true, crazy if not true. Because if it's true, that's crazy that God does that. That is,
Right.
that we can give worship to the host.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. And like, okay, a documentary that unpacks that is interesting to me. It's also crazy if not true, because we're crazy. But so that's interesting to me, just the theology of the Eucharist and how, like, because most Catholics don't believe in the real
It's also
presence.
it's crazy both ways, but it's also mind blowing both ways. That you could come to either conclusion, one that is founded on falsehood and one that is founded on the reality of who God is.
Yeah.
Either way, sorry.
So I don't know if that moves the needle though, because I was thinking about this. I wonder if the best way to communicate that is not with a documentary. Like the Eucharistic amazement is not with a documentary. I think a documentary would best focus on the change to Eucharistic practice. And like, if we believe this is Almighty God, how should we approach him?
Right.
And what changed after Vatican II? Because that might be the convincing thing. Because a lot of people come to Latin Mass because of the manner of receiving communion. We hear this all the time. That because of COVID and the crazy things that happen and the rules that happen around communion, if you show, if you reinforce this is what we believe and why do we kneel and receive on our tongues like little children, what is the proper way to receive Almighty God and not in the most fitting way. So, and why was that change? It's interesting to look at what happened with like Calvin and Zwingli, the Protestants, like how they didn't do communion on the tongue because they were attacking belief in the real presence. And then the church adopted it, and people, it's a crazy history that we adopted it, not out of theological precision, but out of kind of just like a lack of piety. It seemed like a lack of zeal. It was just like the bishops got together and said, should we change this practice? No, was the resounding word from the bishops. Yeah. Then Paul VI said, we will not change the traditional manner of receiving. But if you already have this manner of receiving, you can get permission.
Yeah, it's like
and then the permissions, and then the permissions through that one line, the permission spread everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
And not in places that already had it, but new places, and not by following the prescriptions laid out, which was if there's no danger of profanation, which is the way we receive communion in the hand is not the way they received it in the ancient church. So there's like that could be a way to move a lot of people to traditional Latin Mass.
I think that your point is valid, though. We have to, if the goal is to increase Latin Mass, so regardless of what may happen in the future, right, that may determine what we do. Then we need to, we'll need to pivot on that, right? But the Eucharist is the Eucharist, right? So that could be a huge
And
thing.
sorry.
Go ahead.
It's just an insight into the trilogy versus individual episodes within it. The trilogy as a whole is like a narrative, right?
Yeah.
It's a narrative piece. But it kind of reaches its genre pinnacle, if that's even a phrase.
It is now.
It is now, in episode 2, as a documentary.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if you took all the documentaries on, food and farming, agricultural abuse and all of this kind of stuff, there's lots of documentaries about that out there. Episode 2 would fit very snugly into all of those.
Right.
There's certain elements to it that are there's investigations going on, and like we're looking into this, and then the documentary does, to a certain degree, draw conclusions for you.
Sure.
Right?
And it's a documentary. Its key word is documents.
Yeah.
So it's like you're looking at something. You're investigating something.
The trilogy as a whole isn't that.
Right.
Like episode 1 and episode 3, they're not investigative in nature.
3 more than 1 for sure.
Yeah, 3 is more than 1, but it doesn't draw conclusions for you.
Right.
It brings you to a point where you have enough information where you can draw your own conclusions. Right. Lots of documentaries, they only have one shot at a documentary.
Right.
So they're going to get their point across to you. They're going to tell you, this is why we're doing this, unless you're looking at like Blue Planet or any of these sort of nature documentaries, which are just more fluffy and like let's just look at things. And, so I do sense that whatever 4
Fourth film.
The
We're not
fourth
calling it episode 4.
feature-length film, or the 4th time that we do a documentary, that it has that documentary genre feel. If it's going to be standalone, I think it needs it.
Yeah.
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 But it's got to be universal. 'Cause
I
we've
mean,
done a great
Yeah,
job.
but the universal thing as well is that, which I totally agree on. It's like when you say universal, it's like, I don't care about freaking agricultural practices, but guess what? I'm going to watch a film about farming.
It gets you to care. That's right.
I'm going to watch it. But there's a secret source, which Cameron loves it when I say that because...
It sounds like source.
Source. Yeah.
So when I hear Brits talk about the sort, like I heard a lecture on the sources of divine revelation, and every time he said source,
He said sources of...
sources.
Yeah.
Sources.
So secret sauce.
Secret sauce.
As in like...
Right.
liquid mixture, and
There's 4 sauces.
the secret source of the gospel known as the Q document. Like,
Ooh, what's the secret sauce? That sounds good. Ancient sauce.
So yeah. Anyway, like there is a sort of secret sauce,
It's very smoky.
Liquid.
It's very old.
Okay.
liquid,
Yeah.
edible liquid.
Yeah, I know.
That goes into documentary making. That no matter what the subject matter is, there's something about it that grabs you,
Yeah.
and then there's a universality in it
Right.
that can speak to you.
There's
And
like
I
a
think
good-
we can maintain that pretty much with anything we do. I think
There's a compelling question.
yeah, as long as that's it. It's the compelling question. As long as there's a compelling question, it can work.
Yeah.
You could I'm happy to watch a stupid documentary about frickin' the Yeti, like Sasquatch, whatever. Like I'll watch that.
You know what's interesting about
I don't care about it.
the interesting
I
thing
just
about
find it-
trad documentaries is like we're simultaneously like making it for the 3s and the 4s.
Yeah.
But there's also the group of the 8, 9s, and 10s who like you have to you have to not leave them out in the cold.
Sure.
You have to kind of give them the what they've been waiting for.
Here's
You
little
know?
drops for
And hopefully give them something more, maybe like
Yeah,
with
sure.
episode 3, for example,
Right.
which is heavily sort of geared towards people that might be sympathetic towards these mothers that are fighting for their children, just on that kind of basic level. But for the trad, hopefully it shows them, wow, they're not just sitting down and complaining and like, they're not just doing that on Facebook. Like they got up and frickin' walked to Rome from France.
That was amazing.
They got up and did that.
Yeah.
And there's like a lady in there who probably shouldn't have done it. She had to leave home because she's got her ankle busted.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, but my point is, there's not. If you're making a bourbon documentary, there's not like this Bible
I'd watch
around.
that.
There is one. I forget what it's called, but there is one that I've seen. I'm looking at all this alcohol in front of my face, but like the
Second Kingsman movie.
Second Kingsman. There's not this like culture around it that's like you have to say this, you have to say that. But with these trad documentaries, like there's always that tension because you don't want to alienate them. Like it's not made for them; they're not the primary audience. But I agree with you. Like you can make a compelling documentary about anything that has a compelling question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we infusing, because I felt like with episode, well, with the third episode,
Yeah.
that the priest was the hero.
Yeah.
And so whatever we do, the priest has got to be the hero because the priest is the hero.
Yeah,
Right?
we exist to serve the priest.
Right,
That's
period. So,
There's that. I don't know if you've seen that little booklet, and you at home will probably know this, Cameron, and your wives might have this book. It's called Mother Love.
yeah.
It's called Mother Love.
Yeah.
This is Mother's Day present material or birthday
Great.
present.
I'm a man though.
For your wife.
Oh,
Don't
yeah,
buy
yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah. Oh,
Buy
okay,
it for
yeah.
your-
Gotcha. Well, you were talking about a gift you're getting for Tony. I thought you were.
Yeah.
But in it, there is a prayer for raising a son as a priest.
Oh, that's cool.
And my wife's been praying and meditating with it, and it's like really impactful for her. It was shocking for her actually to read it, and to pray with it and to meditate with it. But it kind of goes back to this. Like there's this, there's a accusation of clericalism, at the trads, and then the trads throw it right back at the Novus Ordo people, saying, "Well, you guys are, up at the front of the stage, and you have to do juggling tricks to it." But when it comes down to it, in a young man's life, if everything is perfect in a young man's life, he makes the decision of, who am I going to sacrifice to? And there's two choices, really. It's one, I'm going to sacrifice for a woman, a bride who is of the flesh, but not
Right.
in an evil way, just
Right,
it's
right.
physical. Or the bride that is the bride of Christ's.
Right.
And so the priest really is the hero, and like we have young people who are watching our films, young men
Right.
who are inspired by the men that we choose to have in our films,
Right.
Canon Commons and these great priestly figures, giving a sacrifice of their life for the church, and they've just completely given themselves. So yes, the priest is the hero,
Right.
and that's why we exist.
Right. Amen. That's right.
Last question. Speaking of priest as the hero, can you talk a little bit about priest training?
Yeah.
People don't know. Like it's
Oh,
we don't.
man.
We're just about to like flex ourselves. That's a weird way to say it. We're just about to release a lot of cool stuff about what we're working on. So like in terms of marketing, you're gonna hear a lot more from us, but people don't know about what's happening with priest training. And
Yeah.
we finished
Yeah.
the training.
So priest training, we're dubbing it Latin Mass University, and eventually it will house more things than just this one course that we have, which is about 25, 26 videos and a bunch of handout resources and quizzes that anyone can take, but a priest can. We hope that diocesan priests around the world will take it and they will celebrate a private mass or learn the traditional mass to understand a bit more about their liturgical heritage, or learn it so that they can then celebrate it.
Right.
We have 2,300 people signed up to it. We have hundreds of known religious and priests that are signed up to it, some of which are already traditional.
Right.
But then a great deal of them are...
Yeah, the real key is like doubling Latin masses. If that's our goal, it's not about the canon commons of the world learning this or like taking it and like getting refresher. It's about Novus Ordo priests doing that.
Yeah, I think a lot of Novus Ordo priests that, and we don't use that in a derogatory term. I've been accused of that before online.
It's weird because it's just what it.
I just said Novus Ordo priest.
It's the church's title for.
What do you mean by that? Like
what the church says.
It's just what the church.
Novus Ordo Missae.
It's not a slur. Like I'm not trying to throw shade. I'm just trying to help distinguish between somebody who was ordained in a seminary that uses the new missal versus the old missal. Both of those missals happen to have the same name, so how do we distinguish them? Anyway, so Novus Ordo priests, so like they're taking the course. And wait, what was your?
Well, we have 200 at least Novus Ordo priests and seminarians in our training.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And,
I mean, that's crazy. Like, think about that. What is
the doubling Latin Mass? What does that mean?
Yeah, because if by our numbers, our estimates are there's 1,700 Latin masses, about 1,700 Latin mass priests worldwide.
Yeah.
When you count the dioceses that have it, the Ecclesiae Dei institutes that have it, SSPX that has it, it's about 1,700 priests. So how do you get 1,700 new priests learning the traditional mass? If we want to double that number, if we have 200 already,
we already have 200. We've done no little to no marketing. It's just been
amazing.
A couple of tweets and a couple of emails, and we've had 2,300 people sign up. A bunch of them are priests. We've had 12 newbie Novus Ordo priests who have completed the course. That's like essentially we count that as a win. That's a new Latin Mass has been said somewhere. 12 times.
That's right.
It's awesome. Yeah. These are unique individuals who have gone through the entire course. We have data on them, or metrics, which we're not sharing with the world. And we have plans by the end of this year to have trained 50 people. We hoped at this point, the end of June 30th, to have 10 that went through it.
Yeah, so we're ahead of our goal.
We're ahead of our goal. It's awesome. You can go online right now to latinmass.com/priests, whether you're a priest or not. You can sign up for our free course. Take it.
Have your son play mass and learn the traditional mass. We've had some dads who are like, my son, watches the videos.
We've been sent photos of the kids practicing mass after having watched some of our videos, so it's great. On that note, we have a box with us today.
Oh!
So this is related to our priest training.
Yeah.
Eventually, we will send out...
You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to open up the front. I'm not going to unpack it, but I'm just going to...
Oh, you've got to unpack it a little.
Well, we don't have all the...
Not all the way to the bottom, but you got to.
We don't have all the stuff.
You got to show some of it.
All right.
So let me just chat.
Breaking stuff.
The...
How does that look, Tom?
It's great.
Okay, so this box is available to
Probably
any
can't
priest
see Tony.
for free.
I can see him.
And when I say for free, I mean, we have the money to spend it. It's just in your pockets at home. So
we need help. We need help.
Donate and
Yes.
essentially sponsor a priest to go through our training. And in doing so, you can purchase one of these boxes and it will be shipped to a priest.
There's all kinds of stuff missing with the angle, but there's an awesome altar missal, really thick altar missal that is travel size.
It's down here.
Then there's this maniple which a priest, it's something a Novus Ordo priest wouldn't have. It goes over the forearm. And there's some goodies inside, some secrets inside. What we don't have is our altar cards, which stack on top of it. So it's everything a Novus Ordo priest would need to celebrate the traditional Mass they wouldn't already have. And a link to our free training.
Oh, and by the way, we are attending the National Eucharistic Congress. We're happy to be there and to celebrate the most important thing in our lives. And we're going to be bringing how many boxes?
Probably as many as I can fit in the van.
So as many as he can fit in his van.
In the van.
I'm renting a van.
Are you going to rent the van? Okay.
So tell your priest to come and swing by our booth.
Right.
And
I'll ask Tony how many we can give away for free.
yeah, and he'll say he can have one, he cannot have one. He looks a bit dodgy. How do you say that in American?
Shady?
Shady. There you go.
Quick.
Yeah, nice.
Okay. But the other thing, so yes, that's great. We're going to be at the National Eucharistic Congress, and we need help from our fans, supporters, donors. It takes just under $1,000 to train a priest. With the effort, with the videos and the tangible goods, it's about $980. So we want to do 1,700 of those. So do the math at home. It takes money to do this, and we need it. And we thank you so much to all of our donors. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for giving us ideas, and stay tuned because we've got so many great things. The Vault, the Ambassador Program, the priest training, which will keep going on. Thank you for joining us, gentlemen. Thank you for being here. Tom, thank you for keeping these yahoos together.
Tom, go to
helping
bed.
me out.
Time for bed, Tom.
It's time, yeah. Poor Tom. He's
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Yes.
And if you liked this, if you want to see this once a quarter, maybe we'll just keep doing this. Let us know in the comments. And please, like Tony said, monthly support especially means a lot to us. So consider giving on a monthly basis. Go to latinmass.com and help us double Latin Masses worldwide.
Amen.
All right. Amen. Good night. Peace.
Peace.